Radio. I know last week we were absent, but we were absent for a reason. Number one, Monday was a holiday, and we did a best of. I didn't hear a best of. Well, there's 1,058 best ofs available to you. In case you forgot, uh, out there, you say, "Oh, my player only goes back 200 episodes." Okay, your player only goes back 200 episodes.
The
But
good news is they're all available on studentofthegun.com.
that's right. They're all available on studentofthegun.com. So, yeah, rather than just try and create a best of, we just decided that you guys in the audience are smart and that you can go back. In case you guys in the public audience didn't realize it or haven't been caught up, we did a grad program invite Memorial Day camp out here in Wyoming from basically Friday through Monday. And then I was not feeling very well Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we just punted. Zach wasn't either. So, but we're back. We're back in case you hadn't figured that out by now. What are we going to talk about today? All right. Bing, bang, boom. Today we are we not live, Zach?
We should be live. Allegedly, we're live.
Oh, we're supposed to be live on our social media.
Oh, I'm seeing that our little program thing is saying sending data, but we're live on YouTube.
Oh, we're live on YouTube. Okay. So we're live on
also
YouTube, but we haven't gone live on Fascist Book yet.
We're live in the Liberty Mastermind, which is weird. I'm going to work on that. You keep doing your thing.
Are we live in Discord?
We're live in Discord. We're live on Facebook. We're Liberty Mastermind. We're live on YouTube.
All right. So today on Monday's show, this is Student of the Gun episode 1060. Talk about RCP versus SBR. Yeah, we're going to get all acronym on you guys. We're going to have a Duracoat finished firearm of the week. And then we're going to talk about whatever else it is that we feel like talking about right after Zach plays the music.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
You know, it's interesting to me, Jared.
Tulips.
Well, what's interesting to me...
No, not tulips. Damn.
No, not tulips. That people would arrive at a Student of the Gun anything, whether it's a Student of the Gun Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and they would act shocked and offended that I would speak mean or sarcastically to our enemies. I find that interesting. Like, where did you come from and where have you been? And you know what I learned over the course of my life? And I've been around for a while. I've been to a lot of schools, been to a lot of places. I've been to, I can't even imagine how many schools. I've been the new guy a bunch, as probably a lot of you have. Have you ever been
like our model? Your motto, not model. You're beginner once, you're student for life.
Right. I mean, Jared, you've gone to places and been the new guy, right?
Yeah, I try to do that often. That's how you grow.
So when you're the new guy, what is the best way to soak in and absorb the information that's being presented to you as the new guy?
You talk over all of the experts.
That's what
and
you
don't
do.
Listen to any of them. That's the best
Constantly
way.
Interrupt and talk over and stand up and try and convince the guy up on the dais that you're smarter than he is.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
and
all
that
right.
You should be there teaching the class. Actually,
yeah, that you should be on the dais teaching the class. You're not, because you haven't sacrificed and you haven't put in all the hard work. You just want to show everyone how smarter you are. You know, if you're the new guy, in case some of you guys in my audience are Gen Zs, I'm going to give you a little bit of life lesson, Junior.
Did you say Gen Zs?
Or Gen Zs. That's
like an XI? Is that a new generation?
I don't know. But, you know, Zach's age. If you find yourself as the new person, whether it's a new person on the job, a new person in the school, a new person if you're in the military, you're the new guy at the unit, the best thing for you to do to assimilate and to be able to absorb what's going on is to sit back, close that filthy, disgusting sewer underneath your nose. That's a little bit of drill instructor lingo there. Close that sewer under your nose, open up both your ears, and listen louder. Because you've been here for all of 5 minutes. No one in this room cares what you think. Well, I'm the smartest guy on planet Earth. You might be the smartest guy on planet Earth, but here's the deal. You've been here 5 minutes, and no one cares what you think. So this is my advice to you, young people, as you're progressing throughout your lives. When you find yourself as the new person in the unit, at the job, whatever it is at the school, just sit back and be quiet for a while and listen. And then you'll be better capable. If you really are the smartest person in the room, then you will actually be better capable to display that. If you Solomon said, close that hole under your nose and open up your ears and listen louder, or something like that. That's where it's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt, than to speak and remove all that. That's from Proverbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. So if you are brand new to Student of the Gun, you found yourself here accidentally, or you're like, well, I'll check this thing out. We are glad that you are here. We are. And we hope that you will gain something from this. However, in addition to, nonetheless, if you've been here for 5 minutes, close the hole under your nose, open up both your ears, and listen louder, and you just might learn something. I'm never listening to this guy again. Okay. Guess what? I just didn't start doing this yesterday. All right. Questions and answers. If you happen to be participating live via the Discord, via the YouTube, via the Fascist book, if that happens to be the case, well, you are allowed, we shall allow you, we'll be kind and benevolent, to throw a question in there. Although, Zach, we're still not on the Fascist book. You're working on that?
You are incorrect. We are on the Fascist book.
Oh, are we on the Fascist book?
Refresh
I
your
guess
browser.
I need to. Yep, I just refreshed my browser.
Francis, Justin,
Hey.
Tom, and Mac are all watching on our Fascist book.
All right. Hey, hey Tom, hey Francis, hey Mac, Juno. I used to know a dude from Juno. I was roommates with a guy from Juno, and he worked in Walla Walla.
Did he knock up his girlfriend?
Juno.
Oh, wow, that's an obscure movie reference.
What?
Yeah,
That's totally over my head.
I like that movie.
No, there was a movie called Juno.
At Ellen Page and
Yeah,
J.K. Simmons.
And you mean Fred or Frank or whatever it wants to call itself now?
Oh, is frickin' Michael Cera a non-binary thing?
No, the other one.
Oh, Ellen Page, right. I forgot that she wasn't just a lesbian.
No, she went from I'm a lesbian to I'm not even a lesbian. I'm a man. No, you're not.
I didn't hear about that.
You're a human with serious, hardcore mental problems. But because you live in Hollywood, rather than help you, they're going to enable you. That's like somebody who has a friend who's an alcoholic, and instead of saying, hey, bro, you need to get help, you're an alcoholic, saying, here's another beer.
You're funny when you're drunk.
Yeah, you're funny. Exactly, Zach. Thank you very much. That's like saying, yeah, but you're funny when you're drunk.
I didn't mean to be
That's a
help,
good
but you're
friend.
welcome. Yeah.
That's a good friend right there. Rather than say, hey, you need some help, and I'm gonna help you find it. They're like, have another beer, man. Don't let anybody tell you there's anything wrong with you. You're
fine.
perfectly fine as an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You're funny when you're drunk. So there you go. So that's the sick thing about Hollywood, is they're like, yeah, these people they all have mental problems, like Bruce Jenner and all. They all have like they're publicly displayed mental problems, but rather than help them get to help, what we do is we enable them. We're like, yeah, but you're good for entertainment value. If you went away and got mental counseling and help, you wouldn't be good for the cover of People magazine. We need you on People magazine as a freak.
Yeah.
That's so selfish.
Like Greta Thunberg.
You ever thought about how selfish that is, Jared? It's like we're just going to let you have a mental breakdown in public for our own entertainment value.
That's Hollywood.
That's sick.
Got good ratings.
That's sick. All right, we got a Duracoat finished firearm of the week, as promised. All right. What I have today in my hot little hands is something I talked about a few weeks ago. I told you guys I was going to do this. This is, people are like, oh, that's an FN, or that's a G3, or that's a, nope, it's not any of those things. This actually is a C93 Sporter. It's a Sporter. Because if you put the word Sporter on it, that makes it okay. Our masters in Washington have decided that we're only allowed to have guns that have, quote, legitimate sporting purpose. Because as we all know, you and I, Jared, you remember when you went to, when you were in high school, did you take, what was your government class called? Was it called U.S. government? Or was it?
I don't know. There was a couple different ones. There was,
Well,
we had U.S., but then we had something else that was, I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
When I went to high
I'll
school,
think of it while we're talking.
the class that we took where we had to learn about the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the three branches of government, it was called literally U.S. government. And the textbook was called U.S. government. And it was the history of the United States government and the laws of the United States government, specifically, like I just said, Articles of Confederation, blah, 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 and all the amendments and the Constitution, and then the breakdown of the various branches of government and why we did that and why we have a separation of powers, blah, 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 and why our founders did that. So if you study that like I did, you probably remember that section in the Constitution where it says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed as long as the guns have legitimate sporting purpose. You saw that, right? I mean, the words legitimate sporting purpose are right there in the Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
They're right next to the words separation of church and state. Do you know how many people in America today think that the Constitution contains the words separation of church and state? Sadly, far too many. And this is when you say, "What, they doesn't?" But the newspaper, the USA Today told me it did. CNN told me it did. They wouldn't lie. No, so this gun was imported by Century Arms. It is a 5.56. It is an HK roller block gun based upon the original HK93. Now, HK has had, they've got if you're an HK aficionado, whether you love them, whether you hate them, whatever, they have this tendency to take the same gun but give it different names. Like, for instance, the SP1. What's the SP1, Jared? It's a semi-automatic version of the MP5. Do they function like basically the same way? Mm-hmm. Same roller block, same trigger style, same barrel, same everything, same stocks? Yeah, but they have different names. So when you look up HK stuff online, you say, oh, man, I want to look that up. You'll find, why is the G3 the G3? Why is it not the G93 or the G94 or the G98 or whatever? As time has gone by, they modify the verbiage. But let me tell you what I did right here with this. You remember we were talking about the new Call of Duty and the camo patterns and how a lot of them are super vibrant?
I do
if
remember
you're nodding
that, yes.
your head, Zach, it doesn't help me.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was something that needed a response, but yes, I remember all that conversation.
Well, it is radio, so give me an audible response.
Yes, Father, I do remember that conversation.
All right. So one of the things that they did is they did kind of like this where it looked like it was a solid color, but like a radioactive green, like a yellow green was bursting out as it was cracking, like it was underneath and it was breaking free.
Oh yeah, that's one of those zombie ones, which
Yeah,
I
one
have.
of the zombie
I think
ones.
all of. I think I
So
have all
it's
of
just
those.
like regular black or green or whatever, but then it's like cracks, like it's bursting through. And I thought, well, I'm going to try that. So what I did was I essentially did the straight up World War II olive drab green, and I did it on top of what they call the electric Everglades. It's a super bright green, a super bright like electric neon green or whatever. So it kind of, what I was going for was essentially that it looked like this outside was cracking and the underneath color was bursting through. So I don't know if you think that that's what happened, but that's what I did. So the black is black. The black is just slightly darker black, just flat old, slightly everything that's black on it is slightly darker black, which is something you get from Durcoat, obviously. And then you have the World War II olive drab green, and then of course you have the electric Everglades. And yes,
Electric Everglades.
you can do the HK slap, just like freaking every action hero from the 1980s, man. You do the HK slap. When you do the HK slap on a rifle, it's a lot more pronounced than on an MP5, because that thing on the MP5 it's only traveling a couple inches. This is traveling like 8 inches. There you go. So that is the Century. And you say, well, where can I get one of those? You can jump into your time machine when they had these in stock. Or you can go to probablygunbroker.com. If you really, 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 really want one, you can go to Gunbroker and get them. Something that I've learned about the roller lock guns is how they're very unique, and they're one of those German designs where Germans always over-design everything. You know, they do.
German engineering, yeah.
So you got the German guy over here. It makes me believe that German engineers would have looked at Kalashnikov's HK with its loose tolerances and been like, oh, it would have made them cringe. It would have made their skin crawl. They're like, you can't have loose tolerances? What are you doing? When you shake the gun, it rattles. And Kalashnikov's like, you're supposed to do that. And they're like, no, it can't rattle. Nothing can move. You're making my OCD. You're making my German engineer OCD act up. But with the roller locks, what I've noticed is that they like to be clean and well lubricated. Okay, you're like, I lube my AK once I lube it annually, you know, and I clean it I never clean it, like ever. That's not the way with the roller locks and the HK. If you got a roller lock HK gun and it's not functioning right, it's probably too dry. And you need to pull that thing apart and you need to clean it. You're like, who makes a gun that you have to clean? I know. Who makes a gun that you have to clean all the time? That's crap. Who makes a gun that you have to lube all the time? That's crap. I'm sorry, but if you want to play with those toys, that's the rules you got to play by. The rules you got to play by is they need to be clean, start out clean at least, and then you need to put lubrication on those suckers because they like to be run wet. That's one of the pieces of advice that Century sent me when I got the AP5. They're like, hey man, make sure you put plenty of lube on it. It likes to be run wet. And I was like, you're preaching to the choir, bro. So I squirted a bunch of red EDC CLP on it and lubed it up, and I've had 0 problems, 0 stoppages, 0 malfunctions, and I'm about 600 rounds into the testing on that. Not quite 1,000 yet. Why not? You should be 2,000 rounds in.
Yeah, you should be over there just.
Yeah, what you need to do is you need to send me a case of ammo, and I'll shoot it all you want me to. I look, people are like, how come you haven't shot it that much?
For every case of ammo that we receive from you,
we'll send you.
We will send you one thank you letter.
we'll send you a limited edition Spike the Attack Hedgehog, the Combat Hedgehog patch. Zach, do you still have Spike the Combat Hedgehog patches in stock?
Yeah, we do, except there's a little problem with them just giving them away.
Oh, because we do it for the grad program.
Because it literally has the word grad program on them.
Yeah,
all right. Well,
Spike lives on through the.
You can't have one, but if you join the grad program, you can.
Tell you what. How about this? If you send us a case of ammo, we will send you a free FSE patch.
That's right, man. You send us a case of ammo, we'll send you every patch we have in stock.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's the thing. I was trying to look something up real
We'll send
quick,
you the bundle.
so I don't know what the deal we were talking about was. What were we talking about?
That's funny.
What we're talking about, they're going to send us a case of ammo, and we're going to send them a Spike the Hedgehog patch.
Okay, so I was on the right track. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell you what, I don't care. I'm going to authorize it right now. Somebody sends me a case of 9. You send me a case of 9 mil. I will override Zach. I will veto him, and I will force him to send you a Spike the Hedgehog patch. Whether it says grad program on it or not, whether you're in the grad program or not, that's the deal I'm going to make for you.
And here's the deal that
the address is P.O. Box 575761, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84157.
You're not going to get a case of ammo to a P.O. Box. Nice try.
Okay, 2575. Yeah, I'll give you the address. Don't worry.
Right to info at. Yeah,
send it to Zach, and he'll make sure to pass it on. And speaking of passing on deals or whatever the hell you said, because we got too far away from the segue, you're talking about EDCCLP. Right now, if you go to edcclp.com and use the code SOTG, you can get a discount. Just want to throw that out there real quick.
I'm going to go do that.
EDCCLP.com.
Just buy a million bottles or one bottle or 57 bottles. I don't care. Use the code
You have to
SOTG.
put a www in front of it.
Of course you do. What is this? The freaking
HTTPS
// escape. That was OJ's. That was OJ's new website. / escape. That goes back 20 years. Did you hear OJ has a new website? What is it? / escape. Wow.
Wait.
And for those of you who heard that joke for the very first time, you're welcome.
Yep.
All right.
Never heard it.
Duracoat, because life is too short
to have an ugly gun.
That's the beginning and end of that sentence. Life's too short to have an ugly gun. Go to Duracoat firearm finishes for the olive drab, for the, if you want to do an electric Everglades, super funky one, if you want to just go with slightly darker black, you're like, I don't want a fancy gun, I just want my gun not to rust. Then put the slightly darker black on it, bing, bang, boom, move on with your life. All right, and yes, you can do it in your own garage, your own workshop. Don't do it in your kitchen or your basement, because they'll probably find you passed out on the floor. Do it in a place with good ventilation. Be smart. Don't be like Gen Z people filling their trunks full of gasoline balloons or whatever. All right, Crossbreed Holsters wants you to be dangerous on demand, freaks. Yeah, how can you do that? I don't know. Carry my gun? Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Carry your gun. Yes. How do you do that? Well, you get a good holster, good belt. That's a start. Dude, Jared, you know what makes me kind of schadenfreude? I saw that some people in one of our favorite groups, that you know that other company that took Mark's design and took it to China and made it a really crappy ripoff. Apparently, the internet's getting wise to them, and they were just mercilessly hammering them the other day. So I don't feel bad for them. When you take somebody else's product, it's AG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh okay. I was like, okay, I know a lot of marks, so I was trying to figure out what it was. Yeah.
Crossbreed Holsters, Mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a company that took Mark's design, took it to China, and made cheap, crappy ripoffs of Mark's design, and it makes me happy when the internet is catching on to them, and so that makes me smile. But if you guys want a made in the USA, made by American patriots, a family-owned business, guaranteed for life. That's crazy to me. They guarantee these holsters for life. I've been to their factory, And I've seen some of the holsters that come back from Mongoloids who've done Mongoloid things to them. And they're like, hey, man, you said you guarantee this. And I'm like, you're way more Caucasian than I am. Because if some chimpanzee sent me back a holster that they did that to, I'd be like, hey, there's a, I can't say it. There's a R-tard. No, I can say retard. I was going to say the fornicate tard. Foxtrot tard. That's what James said in court. When people, do you remember seeing those holsters, Jared?
No.
You weren't there when my bro was showing me. He's like, yeah, these are some ones that came back, and we're going to replace them. I was like, you are super Caucasian, because if somebody sent me back that holster and said, hey, man, you said you'd replace it. I was like, yeah, but we have a retard clause. Now, at Student of the Gun, we have a retard clause. If you go all the way down the bottom, if you it's kind of like the thing on the smoke. What did it say? Do not be an idiot. Do not use this product like an idiot.
Do not be an idiot with this product. It's like, I can get behind
that. Yeah. So just a quick aside, before we go aside, go to crossbreedholsters.com, buy a good holster, a good belt. You will not be disappointed. They're an American-owned family company, and they're going to make it for you in America and ship it to you. So if that's important to you, great. If you want a Chinese piece of crap, then go somewhere else. Yeah, so we were on the island this weekend, and we did some demos with the Shutter Bomb Smoke. And I looked at one of the new ones, and it says, the warning label says, don't be an idiot with these products. I can 100% get behind and endorse that. That's what every company in America should do. Like, they should put asterisk. If you're an idiot, we're not going to guarantee anything. Don't be an idiot. Great advice. That's what we need to see more of. We don't need to see these fold out, disclaimers with all this not for stand on and, don't shoot at the creature and stuff like that. We just need people to write, hey, don't be an idiot. How about that? Don't be an idiot. Move on with your life. For those of you that missed out on it, that missed out on Thursday's camp review, we did. Jared, you want to go ahead and drop in the Shutter Bombs link for our fans here who are listening?
Oh, yeah, I could do that.
So for those of you that haven't been
studentofthegun.com/shutterBomb.
Type the links. So if you're interested, open your show notes right now, click it, and it'll take you right where you need to go. There's a company called Shutter Bombs. And why is it called Shutter Bombs? Shutter like in a camera? Yeah, shutter like in a camera. They're promoting.
Or does it make things shudder?
It makes me shudder. They're promoting them for videographers and photographers. And this is when you and I and everybody else in the audience goes, wink, wink, nod, nod. That's what I'm going to use them for. Wink, wink. Or we're going to use them for signaling. We're going to use them for screening. We're going to use them for emergency purposes, whatever. We went out and we tested, I think, 5 different ones. We did the violet, the green, the white. We had 2 white ones and a black one. You're like, black smoke. Why would I ever want to use black smoke? I don't know. You're an American, man. Figure something out. If you need to dump a crap load of smoke really fast, they have these things called dual vent. Basically, it comes out of both ends. Okay. Kind of like Zach was, a few days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Your dual vent smoke.
Coming out of both ends. There's a huge training field. Well, potentially a training field. We made it a training field on the island where we camped this weekend. And so we had one half of the group go to one end. We had another half of the group go to the other end, about 300. We were separated by about 350 yards. And we did a bunch of signaling. We used our signal mirrors and signaled each other, practiced doing that. We did a bunch of signal whistles, emergency whistles, because every emergency what's-its has a signal whistle in it, right? And one of the other things we did, because I wanted people to see what it actually looked like from a distance. It's one thing to look at something that's 10 yards away, but that's not why we're doing it, right? if you were 10 yards away from somebody, you wouldn't need to throw smoke down because you're right there and you talk to each other. So we tried the violet smoke, and the violets, I mean, it really stood out, right, Jared? And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you were looking at.
Yeah.
And Jared had a dual vent green smoke. You're like, well, green will blend in. Well, the green smoke is really bright green. You know, it's not like the natural green, but yeah, when Jared hit that thing, or whoever, Ben or whoever hit that thing, man, it was surprising to me how much smoke came out as fast as it did. And it covered at least 50 yards across. Like once it whoosh, came out, it was probably at least 50 yards across. It was pretty effective.
Yeah, it was. I watched the video that you sent me. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I wish I could have seen the green one though.
Yeah.
What
So
we're talking about.
The shutter bombs, if you guys are a member of a PFT, if you are hikers, backpackers, if you just want to use them for training, if you're spice up the training at your school, or spice up the training with your guys at the range or whatever, they're not that expensive. They're not free. They're not cheap. They're not Chinese fireworks. They're actually they're activated by a wire pull. They've got a ring on them. You put your finger in it like a grenade, and you give it a good pop, and count 1, 2, 3, and now it's going. So we've been very impressed by the quality of the shutter bomb products, and so what we did is we signed up for an affiliate program to promote them. And if you guys check that out, so that's
it's they're a great product.
Yeah, we're really impressed, and I like their motto: "Don't be an idiot when you use this product." I can fully endorse that. All right, it's Monday, so I'm going to shut my mouth, and Zach is going to, well, he's got a message for you.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Ba-bum-bum, ba-da-dum-bum-bum. All right. RCP. You talking about the Royal Canadian Unmounted Police? No, I'm not talking about the Royal Canadian Unmounted Police. I'm talking about rifle caliber pistols. Now, you say, Paul, we've already talked about these. I mean, isn't the science settled? Why are we still talking about this? I thought it was. All right, 1 week ago, I thought that the science was settled. Now, I don't give two rats fat rump and rear ends. Notice I didn't say the other word. What the AFT thinks and what the bureaucrats that are hiding behind barbed wire fences, the criminal. I don't care what the criminal regime in DC thinks. From a realistic standpoint, the invention of, thank you, Alex Bosco, the invention of the stabilizing brace revolutionized the rifle caliber pistol. The rifle caliber pistol was a thing and has been a thing for literally decades. I remember, who was it? I think it was Olympic Arms. Might have been Olympic Arms like 30 years ago, coming out with an AR pistol that just had a buffer tube, right? Just had the buffer tube, and they're like, hey, it's an AR pistol. And then Rock River Armory was doing them. There was a bunch of companies that were doing them, but they were about as popular as Jock Itch. Let's go ahead and be honest with each other. They were one of those things that you whipped out and you kind of like, hey, look at this, man. And you're like, wow, what is that? What is that? A short barrel rifle? No, it's a pistol. How is it a pistol? Well, it doesn't have a stock on it. And you're like, so you just don't have a stock and that makes it a pistol? Yeah. According to, whatever. And so they're like, okay, well, great. And I remember when the Krinkoffs came up. I remember going to the gun shop in Worcester, Ohio, probably 20 years ago. And Charlie's like, "Hey, look what we got in today." And it was an import Krink pistol, right? No stock, just flat rear end, takes AK mags. It had like a 6.5-inch barrel or something like that. And I thought, wow, that thing is going to be like, that's going to rattle your freaking fillings out, right? And I'll admit that I reviewed a couple, not many. I think I just reviewed 2 or 3. Rock River had, they had a pistol and they had a carbine, and anyway. But let's face it, until Alex Bosco, the founder of SB Tactical, until he sat down with an engineer, well, he was the engineer. He sat down actually with a disabled veteran, and they came up with a stabilizing brace, right? They submitted it to our masters in DC, and the masters said, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Do it." And so he did. And what's funny, right now, Jared, would you say it's safe that the brace business is $1 million business?
Yeah.
Easily. I'd say the brace business is $1 million business. Between SB Tactical is the OG. All right. That's a fact. SB is the OG. You're like, no, it's not. The SIG brace is the OG. The SIG brace came first. Okay, Grandpa, I hate to break your heart here, but the SIG brace is what Alex Bosco designed. He designed that. Well, the Century had the Century. Right? Alex Bosco designed that. Oh, yeah. They all came from the same guy. They all came from the mind of the same guy. Whether you call it a SIG brace or what, or the Century brace or the AK brace or whatever, they all came from the same person. So that spawned This Is America. And when people see other people doing something and being successful, they're like, "Oh, I could do that." So now we have the J-Hook, and we've got KAK, which is making their own variety, and we've got all these other companies making braces, right? Then, here's the really important thing, is you have manufacturers providing them. So now it's not an aftermarket thing. Now it's what OEM. Now it's an OEM thing, original equipment, right? Now they're coming OEM from the factory, from Ruger, from CMMG, from DPMS. You fill in the blank, right? I came to this microphone, Jared. Has it been how long ago did I do the SBR's Dead show?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Got to be years.
I'm going to go find it right now.
Got to be years. So here I am cruising along, living my life, thinking that everybody in the biz, our biz, like I said, I don't care what the criminals in DC think, but everybody in our biz is like, yeah, we get it. We get it. It makes sense. It works. No tax stamps, no registration, no restrictions about transport across state lines, none of that. I can give it to my kids, I can put it in the trunk of a car and drive to another state, and it's just a gun. It's not.
It wasn't as long ago as I thought. It was 2018.
Oh, okay. So it was in Saratoga.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 years ago, I did the SBR's Dead show.
That's funny.
So for the last 3 years, I've been kind of, just cruising along thinking that our industry, not bureaucrats, but our industry gets it, right? Then last Friday, I was shown that I was wrong. I was misled or uninformed. Someone said to me, they're like, that there are noted experts in the firearms training industry that think pistol braces are a bad idea. I was like, come on, what? Yep, it's true. So I thought, all right, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about it. SBR, short-barreled rifle. Where did this term come from? In the United States of America, we existed as a country for about 160 years without an ATF. What? We existed as a country without federal government oversight over the, whether or not we could buy pistols or shotguns or rifles or what they looked like and what they smelled like and what they tasted like. How did we exist as a country? It must have been anarchy. People were dying in the streets every day. Like tens of thousands of American citizens just dead everywhere. No, they weren't actually. People were just living their lives as American citizens. But criminals and gangsters were using guns to do bad things. Guess what? Criminals and gangsters are using guns to do bad things today. And they were before then. And they will be tomorrow. Because no law stops criminals and gangsters from doing bad things because they don't care what the law is. What? No, Paul. If we have more laws, then we'll have less criminals. Actually, it's the exact opposite. So in the United States of America, in 1928, if you had cash in your pocket, you could walk into a hardware store and buy a Thompson submachine gun. You gave the guy the money, he gave you a receipt, and you went home with a Thompson. Now, those things weren't free. That was like going to a car dealer and buying a Corvette, okay? Wouldn't like buying a Dodge Neon or something. It was a Corvette. It was a Cadillac, right? That's kind of the prohibition at the time against people getting machine guns was they're not cheap. It's like, they weren't cheap, man. But you could. You literally could. You could walk into a hardware store if you had cash and buy a Browning automatic rifle. Well, the bloodletting must have been insane. People were dying everywhere. No, they weren't. Well, Laura, if you go back and look at the newspapers, Jared, do you realize the first big socialist push? If you read Jonah Goldberg's book, Liberal Fascism, the first big socialist push took place between the 20s and 30s. And what did we have? What really came into its own in that time, during that time frame? We didn't have TVs yet.
The radio.
We had radio, and we had the news wires. So 50 years earlier, if you were in DC and you said, "Hey, let's terrorize the American populace so that we can pass a law. Let's get everybody scared so we can pass a law that gives us power," it was difficult because you couldn't just put out something and get it everywhere immediately. It took a while. And you had to rely on or trust that the Des Moines Register was going to pick up the New York Times story. You had to trust that, the newspapers in Texas and California, that they were all going to pick up on that New York Times story and repeat it. And you couldn't really trust that. But with the advent of radio and people having radios in their homes, what they were able to do for the first time is create a national narrative and push it out from the East Coast to the West. They were able to create a national narrative to push out. And what was the fear campaign? The fear campaign was Al Capone and the gangsters. Al Capone and the gangsters used Tommy guns. Now, they used other things too. They used shotguns and pistols and all that kind of stuff. But the newspapers and the radio news loved the Tommy gun. Oh my gosh, they were just creaming in their jeans over that. Because what did it do? It sensationalized the story. So Capone's gangsters kill some other gangsters in Chicago. That story gets picked up, sensationalized. They use the Tommy gun, the Chicago typewriter, the whatever, and it went everywhere. All of a sudden, in the United States of America, you could take a local crime story, sensationalize it, and you could terrorize people living in Florida. Now, were the people in Florida, were they susceptible to Capone's gangsters? With the guy living in Titusville, was he worried that he's going to go to the grocery store tomorrow and Al Capone's gangsters were going to gun him down? Of course not. It really would. It had no genuine effect on them, but for the first time, they were able to take that and they were able to sensationalize it and they were able to put it out nationwide. And so they created this fear that, well, I mean, so when they showed up in 1934 and they said, oh, here's what we're going to do, most of Mr. and Mrs. America, couldn't afford a full auto anything, right? They couldn't afford it. The average person couldn't put down $298 for a Thompson or whatever it was at the time. Hell, that was 3 months' salary. So it didn't bother them, and they didn't see it as a problem. Now, what they didn't highlight is they're like, well, we're going to do a bunch of other stuff too. You know, guns have to be so long and they have to, you know, this and that. But what they pushed on the American people was the Tommy gun and the Machine Gun Kelly and the Chicago typewriter and be scared, America. You need to be terrified. But fear not. Fear not. Uncle Sam will protect you. We'll pass a law. And some people said, where in the Constitution do you get the authority to do that? And they're like, dot. This is a crisis. Yeah, but Second Amendment says thou shalt not, and it doesn't say thou shalt not if it's short or long or heavy or small or, you know, whatever. That doesn't say anything like that. Shh. Quiet. That is the time, it was during the 20s and 30s that the United States government figured out, if we create a bureaucracy, we'll give the bureaucracy definition power. And so we'll end around the whole Constitution, you know, public hearings, the House, the Senate, the chief executive. We'll end around all that stuff. What we'll do is we'll create this bureaucracy, and then we'll just allow the bureaucracy to issue definitions. Listen, when you say, where in the farfignugan in the Constitution does it give the federal government the authority to just arbitrarily create a commission or a bureaucracy and give them the authority to determine what is and what isn't? I went to school. I'm a smart guy. I thought it was the job of the Supreme Court to define law and determine whether law was constitutional or unconstitutional. I didn't know it was an unelected bureaucracy's job to define law. Oh, they're not defining law. Well, what are they defining? They're redefining the meaning of words. What? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're living in a country where in 1934 they said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give this unelected bureaucracy, which that's part of the executive branch, that has no authority to create law, because the executive branch has zero authority to create law. What we'll do is we'll give them the power to redefine words. That's not what they're doing at all, Paul. You just lost me, buddy. Okay, Grandpa. Okay, Boomer. You can go away now. They said they gave them the authority to define what the word firearm meant. What? They gave them the authority to decide what the word pistol meant, what the word rifle meant. They gave them the authority to create new words and terms and phrases that heretofore never existed. And then they gave them the authority, after they had this magical authority, to create phrases and words to turn them into de facto laws. Think about that for a second. So they came out of committee and they're like, we have determined that there is a new object in America, and it is called a short-barreled rifle. What? Who told you could do that? We decided we have the authority. Those phallus consumers up there on Capitol Hill, they just blessed it. They're like, yep, here, you can do that. Well, what are your parameters? Well, we decided that if a rifle has a barrel that's less than 16 inches, you're not allowed to have it. Where do you get 16 from? Why not 17? Why not 15? Why not 14? Why not 20? Where did you get that from? Shut up, peasant. We just decided arbitrarily. But is there like a ballistic difference? If the barrel's shorter, does the bullet become more powerful? No, it doesn't. It's actually, if the barrel's shorter, the bullet moves slower. It doesn't move as fast. But stop thinking. Well, if you take the stock off, doesn't it make it harder to control? Shut up. We decided. And of course, this is the way America is, Jared, Zachary. Remember this. When it only affects a small number of people, people let it go. Oh, that doesn't affect me personally, so I don't care. Yeah, but it's illegal. It's unconstitutional. It's unprecedented. You can't give a bureaucracy the authority to define law and to create their own terms. That is authority that is not granted by the Constitution. Well, I mean, I don't care. That's exactly, boys, you weren't paying attention in 94. Zach, you definitely weren't paying attention in 94. That is exactly what happened with the Clinton-era gun bill. That's why it got passed. Because a bunch of fogey fuds said, well, I don't have any of those. I don't own any of those kind of guns that they want to ban anyway, so I don't care. I've got my turkey gun, and I got my deer rifle, and I don't care. Oh, so you don't care if your neighbors have their liberties stripped away from them because it won't affect you? Could you be more selfish? I'll be Chandler here. Could you be more selfish? Could you be more slavish? Could you be more spineless and weak? So fast forward to about 10 years ago. Alex Bosco goes to the AFT, says, I have this new invention. I shouldn't have to ask you, but we'll go ahead and play that game. And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead and make those, man. So they do. So we start making them. Here's the deal. If you want to have an SBR, an actual short-barreled rifle, you have to pay a $200 tax stamp. It's registered. It's registered to you through your trust because they recently modified and altered it. You can't take it over state lines without informing the senior law enforcement official of your jurisdiction. And you're like, what? Yeah. You can't just sell it or trade it or give it to somebody. Well, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that when I can just put a stabilizing brace on it and it's essentially the exact same thing? Exactly. Why would you do that? Well, because that's the right way. Because here's the deal. My experience thus far, the only people that are against RCPs is people who are financially or emotionally invested in the SBR. People, before about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, people were selling SBRs for $3,000. And you say, but that's not $3,000 for the parts, Paul. I know, I build guns. I know how much that costs. That's not $3,000 for the parts. No. See, if that was a 16-inch barrel carbine, it would be $995. It's a 14-inch barreled SBR with a super cool serial number on it, and now it's $1,995. You say, that don't make no good sense. I know. What? But just because it has that magic serial number on it, does it shoot faster? Does it shoot straighter? Does it shoot? What makes it super cool? has that special serial number on it. Has the special words carved into the side. They carved the magic words into the side. Now it's super special. You're like, yeah, Paul, but if I have an AK pistol and it has a 10-inch barrel or 8-inch barrel or whatever, and has a brace on it, that does the exact same thing as a registered SBR with the magic serial number carved inside of it. Why should I pay $200, wait 12 months, and now it becomes this hot rock item? It becomes freaking plutonium. I can't just sell it to my kids. I can't. If you take it and give it to your kid, you have an adult kid, and you say, hey, man, here, son, you take this and go shoot it and keep it in your house. Now you're a felon. If the AFT comes to your house and says, hey, we need to see that serialized license tax stamp thing, if you can't produce it, they'll arrest you. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in that position just so you can have the cool serial number? And the last thing I'm going to say is this. Firearms, first and foremost, in the hands of free men, are instruments of liberty. Yes, we can compete in games and sports and hobbies and competitions and so forth with firearms. Okay, I get that. European slaves play with guns. European slaves don't have liberty. Slaves in Australia, slaves in you name it, name the country, they have regulations and taxes and fees and permits. And if you're wealthy, you can go to the government and give them lots of money, and they will give you permission to play with a gun. That's not liberty. Whether we're talking about RCPs or SBRs or PCPs or MOUSEs, whatever it is, if you don't first look at that gun and think, this is an instrument of liberty, you failed the liberty test. If you think, well, I don't see what the big deal is, just fill out the paperwork, get your trust, spend the money, get your tax stamp, register the gun, and now you can have a 14-inch barreled AR. That's not liberty. It might be a cool toy, and you might enjoy playing with it, but that's not liberty. And liberty is the end game. Liberty is the goal. So don't get confused by all the weird verbiage and the PCPs and RCPs and SBRs and SBSs and all this stuff. Keep liberty first and foremost in your mind. Your goal should be to seek out liberty at all times. And if you're substituting games or recreation or hobbies for liberty, you're wrong. And that's the end of that story. All right, Wednesday, and I just gave you guys a bonus, so you're welcome because I wasn't here on Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to talk about civil defense rifle. Somebody's making a civil defense rifle. They are. And John Xina, that's Xina with an Xina. There's a John Xina update. That should be fun. And then, of course, we will also have a Student of the Gun homeroom. We got all that and more coming up on Wednesday's show. Until then, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
All right.
Everybody's got all their poops out, right?
Yeah, I don't got to go.
Can we be back at 10:57 to start doing Wednesday?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, have fun. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and put on the bumper music, and we'll be back soon. So, see you again soon. we're back. Yep, Dad. Give him a second. There he is. Welcome back to the show. Kind of.
What you see, you cannot get.
You're still waiting on Gerard to get back. So, if you are an old school...
Did you see I have tiny tomatoes growing?
I did see that, yes.
Little tiny tomatoes, little green tomatoes are growing on our plants.
How lovely. If you are an old school SOTG radio listener, we've got something today that might make you happy.
Oh, do you remember all the
Potentially.
twisted panties that occurred
When we
when we
debuted
first
this
came
thing?
up with the vagination report?
I do remember that, yeah.
Oh, the twisting of the panties. It was like a whirlwind. We could have made a movie called a sequel to Twister called Twister 2.
The
The
twisting.
panties are in a bunch.
I think they did do a Twister too, didn't they?
Oh, I'm sure they did. They made money with the first one. They're like, I made money with the first one. Let's do another one. And no one cared. What if we did a sequel and no one came?
The Atomic Twister was a straight-to-television movie. Oh, hey, Twister 2 isn't happening, but a Twister reboot's in the works. Oh, wow, they didn't make a Twister 2?
Of course we need we need a second tornado movie. Because the first one just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
We need to make it for the new generation.
It was a whirlwind ride.
We need to put modern, like,
Shit.
I don't know. We need to put Justin Bieber or something in it. I don't know. Who's
He
a
is way out of vogue.
young douchebag that people would want to see or whatever.
Post Malone. Post Malone would be a big one.
Yeah, he's going to be the star of Twister 2, of the Twister reboot with his tattoo face.
People with face tattoos can get killed by tornadoes too.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
Yipper.
Okay, I found the picture.
Which one?
The vagination picture.
Oh, the trophy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was real easy. I just went to our website, or not website, our Facebook page, and looked up vagination, and there it was.
Oh, man. I tell you what, I kind of miss those days.
Which days?
But bringing the smackdown. People didn't know what to think. They're like, I'll listen to this student of the gun. Maybe let's talk about my favorite 22 rifle.
To be fair, the word gun is in our name, so
To be fair.
shut up.
Yeah, but what is a student of the gun?
Beginner one, student for
See,
life.
you have to actually think. People are like, I didn't know I was going to have to think when I came here. That's not part of the deal. I want you to reinforce everything that I currently think.
Well, thinking is lame and hard, so that's fair.
Thinking is hard.
There we go. Up,
I'm
I got,
offended that
ping.
you made me think.
Yeah, to be fair, Justin, to be fair.
To be fair. Did Justin just jump in?
Yes, he did.
What's funny is everyone in the audience knew that. Everybody around the campfire knew that, but you.
I've never seen an episode of Letterkenny in my life.
Is Justin in Discord?
Yeah, he's in Discord right now.
To be fair. What, have you watched it now?
Yeah,
You've
he showed me the clip while we were out there.
Oh, okay. And there's one clip, but there's like 1,000. If there's one clip, there's...
I saw the origin clip. How about that?
Yeah, the origin clip. I saw the orange clip?
The orange box. An underrated way for everybody to enjoy Portal and Team Fortress 2.
You're freaking gay.
Hey,
Buddha on a rubber raft.
Portal and Portal mostly is not gay. Thank you very much. Portal is actually amazing.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Bottom layer. I don't need. Fuck.
Jared, you took the Bobcat home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob can't take my wife.
Did you tell? Oh, is Nate in Georgia? Nate's in Georgia right now.
Made in Georgia, yes.
No, the Blade Show's going on right now.
I know.
Is it not?
Made in Georgia. Jared, is the Blade Show going on?
It's this weekend.
Oh, shit, is it this weekend?
I think it's
Poop,
this weekend.
You mean?
Dang
you mean
it, I was supposed to stop by
Too late.
before Blade Show.
Bladeshow.com. It's the 4th through the 6th, which would be today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So, yes, our buddy Nate is in Georgia. I wonder if he's picking up the turd. I can't pick up the turd. I'm in Georgia. Yeah. Cat in the hat, and that be that. Yeah, we need to look for a 5-foot, a straight 5-foot stick.
Why?
To make a spear. Duh.
Oh, with the bobcat.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sabotage.
That's how that song goes, right?
You could do a really cool sizzle reel video with that thing. Just go out in the woods and do stuff with it.
Yeah, that's what I guess. That's actually something I had in mind. Is when and if we're going to put that on the RM store or whatever, Insider Secrets. We're gonna start before we help him market that.
Those who know.
Yeah, we're gonna need to do like a sizzle reel of like 30 seconds to a minute of just like doing shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where to go to do shit though.
Everywhere.
We don't have access to anywhere to do that.
It's not the location. It's the time. Just taking the time to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Very time limited. Very.
If you were a super smart guy, if you could spear a fish, that would be the fish shizzle. That would be cool. I got a question. So with the whole fish thing, is it only if you pull it out of the water with a hook and a line, or do you have to take any fish? You have to bow fish or to spear fish or whatever. You have to have the same license. Probably the same license. They probably don't care. If I smash it over the head with a rock, do I need a license? The answer is always yes. The default answer is yes, pay the tax. That's always the default answer. You know that spearing it is cheating. Cheating. Throwing a net in the water is cheating. Just pay the tax. Pay the tax. Be a good minion of the state and pay the tax. All right, it's way beyond the time. Let's start with the Wednesday.
So, Dad, real quick, let me write down the starting time. Boom. All right, Dad, you can go ahead and start us off in 3, 2.
All right, bing, bang, boom. It's time for Wednesday's episode. Civil Defense Rifle. Yes, a CDR. Now we got another one, Jared.
CDR?
Yeah, RCPs, SBRs,
SBR, CDR,
PCPs,
PCP,
CDR,
PCC.
We need to start throwing that into our lexicon now. It's a CDR. What's a CDR? Duh, it's a civil defense.
It's a CD writable.
It's a
rewritable or whatever.
It's a CD. That's what you do. People start Googling CDR and they're like, why would I want a rewritable CD? What year is this? What year is this?
Holy crap, you have some right there.
I have some CDRs right here.
Oh, wow.
That, and we're going to talk about John Xina. That's Xina, Xina. All that and more.
Not the warrior princess.
No, not Xina, the other one.
Xena the
Listen,
Warrior Princess
actually,
has more balls
actually,
than John does.
Lucy Lawless has more huevos than this one. She wears the pants in that family. All right, but
Did we
Play the
start
music.
recording? Yeah.
play the music, freak.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
All right. Yes, indeed. During the break, I went and I looked at some of the comments that you guys had dropped into the fascist book stream, and I didn't mean when we talked about shutter bombs to disparage using the smoke for videography and photography. I didn't mean to disparage it. It's just we come from different worlds. The people, the soft-minded citizens, they think, oh, do that for photos and stuff. And the hard-minded citizens are like, well, actually, I'm going to use it for signaling and screening and filtering out things that need to be filtered. Making people who don't need to be in places go other places, stuff like that. But yeah, if you're a videographer or a photographer and you're using the shutter bombs, send us pictures, man. Like, I'm not kidding. If you're in the audience and you use the shutter bombs, the shutter bomb smoke, send us pictures. We want to see them. We want to share them. So yeah, I just wanted to address that real quick before we got going, and that basically leads me into the whole. If you have questions or comments or things, throw them in to either Discord or YouTube or Facebook. I think those are just the three that we're live on right now. Good. Get it. Got it. Good. Justin had a great suggestion, Jared. He said next time, where was Darren and his drone? Yeah. What's up?
I haven't heard from Darren in a while. I have to check
Calling
on
you
him.
out, man. You could have brought your drone to the island and we could have seen what it looked like from the air. We could have got a helicopter. So let's say you're in a helicopter searching for somebody and they light one of these off. What does it look like on the ground?
That's a great idea.
We actually could have shown you. Jared, I know someone who looks a lot like you who actually has a drone that you can Bluetooth to your phone.
I have a drone.
Remember we bought it?
Oh yeah, there's no.
But that doesn't work?
No.
All right.
It was cheap Chinese. Doesn't work.
It doesn't work? Did it ever work? Did you ever?
I mean, it kind of did, but not for like going way up there above to look down at smoke.
Up high enough to look at smoke? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I guess we can just go ahead and jump straight into the Brownell's bullet points, brought to you by none other than Brownell's. Today. Boom! Brownell's bullet points. Yes. So, in case you hadn't figured it out by now, it is Brownell's that is making the CDR. The reason I know this is because I subscribe to their emails. And I received an email this weekend. Or actually, it was earlier this week. I can't remember what freaking day it is because I'm just like, blah. Let's just suffice it to say it was previous to today. It was before right now. And it said civil defense rifle. And I thought, what? I'm down with that. What is that all about? What's that all in a boot?
What's that all about?
That's a little bit of Chris Jericho for you there. What's that all about? What that's all about is, about a year ago, I guess it has been, maybe not quite a year, we talked about the KE Arms lower receivers, the unibody lower receivers. Basically, it's a molded polymer lower. It's a polymer molded over steel, reinforced steel, and it's all one piece. You got the stock, the pistol grip, the lower, magwell, trigger guard, everything. It's all one piece. and you can get them completely stripped to put your stuff in, or you can get them finished with triggers and pins and all that crap. Do what you want. You're an American. Actually, there's two things that I noticed in the sale. They had a factory blem KE Arms stock for $89, which is actually a really good price. And you say, I don't want a blemished. What I have, Jared, check me if I'm wrong on this. Historically, when I've purchased something that is factory blemed, I generally get it and roll it over in my hands 3, 4, or 5 times, and I can't find the problem.
You're like, what?
What
was the issue here?
I don't know. There's a lot of companies that do that. If the finish doesn't come out right, like if the finish is off, they're like, oh, well, crap. That's no good. Sell it as a blem. Like, the finish is off? So the tint on the gray is off? I'll buy that for $50 off because I'm a dirt coated anyway because I'm a freak. So what is this all about? The Civil Defense Rifle. It is built upon the KE Arms lower receiver. That is the polymer unibody lower receiver, which are actually really pretty slick. Onto that, they have installed a 16-inch barreled upper receiver, and that has a free-floated aluminum handguard, or aluminium, for all of you across the pond there. It only weighs, here's the cool thing, the really nice thing about the KE Arms lowers is they lighten up the total weight of the gun by around a pound, about a pound or so. So this whole thing is a 16-inch barreled rifle with an aluminium free-floated handguard, and it only weighs 5.11 pounds. That's pretty good. That's for an actual rifle to come in under 6 pounds. That's righteous. That really is. That is righteous. It's got an A2 flash hider. It comes with one 30-round magazine, and buy more magazines. It's chambered in 5.56 in case you were wondering. What's it chambered in? Is it a blackout? No, it's not a blackout. It's chambered in 5.56. It comes with a DMR trigger. It's got basically it's an out of the box ready to go. It's an out of the box ready to go rifle. The only thing that you need to put on it is it's a what they call optic ready. We started that phraseology. I don't know, about 10 years ago, when I think Smith & Wesson was probably the first one to do it. If they're not, don't yell at me. But to price point their guns, they started selling them without sights, and they started just calling them optic ready guns. Because if they had sights on them, they weren't optic ready. But if you sell it without sights, that makes it optic ready. You're like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. How does selling it without sights make it optic ready? Wasn't it optic ready with sights? Shh. Just go with the marketing technique and be quiet.
It's less expensive for us because we don't have to put the sights to put on there.
Shh. That's our marketing technique. Well, you know why they did it? Because they knew that every knucklehead that was going into Academy was throwing a freaking red dot on it anyway. And they're like,
yeah,
if they really want the sights, they'll buy them. I would recommend putting sights on guns just because. Yeah, it's an optics ready carbine. It weighs only 5.11 pounds. Like I said, it's a 16-inch barrel with an A2 flash hider. I'm sure it's probably a really solid gun because Brownells doesn't make junk. They make good things. That's just the way it is. So there you go. That is the Civil Defense Rifle. And if you're interested, well, you can open your show notes. If you can open your show notes and then just read all about it. Extra. Open your show notes. Read all about it from Brownells at brownells.com. Sign up for the freaking newsletter. You see, if you already knew about this, you're like, ha, I already knew all about that. because I texted 556-223 to, no, I texted BRN. That's what I did. I texted Brown. What's Brown going to do? BRN to 556-223. And I opened my phone. Actually, I got one of those text messages last week, and it said, ammo in stock. Boom. And I looked at that ammo.
Link gone. Dang.
Yeah, click, boom. Actually, the only one that was left was the 9mm. All the 223 was gone by the time I got in there. Oh, moving on. Subscribe. Do the right thing. Duracoat, why? Because life is too short
to have an ugly gun.
Mm-hmm. And if you missed Monday's show, well, go back and listen, freak. Doesn't cost you nothing. Go back and listen to Monday's show where we did the Duracoat Finished Firearm of the Week. We had a unique one. It was unique on Monday. But if you'd like to refinish your gun, if you have an old, ugly, worn-out gun, you can fix it. It can be done. It just takes a little bit of time and effort and elbow grease and you paying attention. Go to DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com. They will hook you up. Yes, they will. SWAT Fuel has 9mm plus P in stock. If you need a little kick in your fanny, you say, yes, I do need a little kick in my fanny. Okay. Well, go to SWATfuel.com. Use the promo code SOTG. You will get a discount off of the already low price, and you will get a kick in your fanny. Yes, indeed, you will. And we're praying for them that they will very soon be able to get over the Rona madness and start producing the vitamins for us again. We pray, because they're good vitamins. It's good stuff. All right. I guess, Zach, is this a good time for you to inform people as to what they should be doing?
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the pimp hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. Education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out ShopSOTG.com today and see for yourself.
That's right, hippie. Go see for yourself. Don't take my word for it. All right, moving on. Every single week, we do a little feature for you, a featurette, if you will. We do a featurette called The Student of the Gun Homeroom. I get it. Education, university, homeroom. Now you're tracking 5x5. Mm-hmm. And it's brought to you by our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. So listen up. All right, without further ado, it's time to get into the homeroom, brought to you by our good buddies at Crossbreed, American patriots, American citizens, a family-owned business making you high-quality holsters, belts, and accessories. If you use the promotional code SOTG, you're a righteous dude. Definitely do that, and you're going to save some money and get some good gear. North Carolina affirms church defense. Do what now? Jared, do you have this show open?
I do have the show open. Yeah.
From ammoland.com. This is a relatively brand new story. It's from June 4th.
North Carolina House passes worshiper protection bill. June 4th. This is from ammoland.com.
What's the deets?
The deets. Yesterday, the House passed Senate Bill 43 to expand the ability of citizens to defend themselves and their loved ones while attending religious worship. It now goes back to the Senate for concurrence. It says, please contact your state senator and ask them to concur on SB 43. There's a link to take action in the story. And it says SB 43, not SB, not stabilizing brace 43.
Not the stabilizing
Senate
brace.
Bill 43.
Yeah. Is there an SB 43? I'll have to look it up. Go ahead.
That's a good question. The SB 43 allows law-abiding citizens who hold a concealed handgun permit to carry a handgun to defend themselves and their loved ones when attending religious worship taking place on private property that is both a school and a place of worship if it does not prohibit firearms. That was a mouthful sentence.
Wow. Anything else?
This empowers private property owners to set their own security policy rather than the state imposing a one-size-fits-all solution.
Holy cow! People could.
Yeah, you
Like,
mean the way
you
it
can
should
make your own
be? Like,
decisions.
yeah, like I own my property and I can do what I want on the property, so suck it. In
Shut your
2019,
mouth.
an armed citizen defended his church against an individual in Texas. This worshiper, who we talked about, his name's Jack Wilson, was able to take action because of similar NRA-backed legislation in Texas. Last year, a similar bill, the Second Amendment Preservation Act, passed both chambers with bipartisan majorities after stalling the year before. It moved through the legislative process quickly last year because of the strong leadership demonstrated in both chambers. Unfortunately, Governor Roy Cooper chose to veto this critical bill, and the General Assembly was unable to override it. NRA would like to recognize the North Carolina Rifle and Pistol Association for their continued hard work on this legislation. Again, please contact your senator and ask them to concur on SB 43.
Wow.
And this was obviously, it was distributed on AmmoLand by NRA-ILA, which is the
ILA.
Institute for Legislative Action.
Probably the most valuable part of NRA that exists currently is the ILA. I'm going to go ahead and just say that. There, I did. I just said it. So the Carolinas, man, you guys in Carolina, you make my heart hurt, man. You really do. You're like, it's like the scene in Oliver when the kid goes up with his bowl and he's like, "Please, sir, may I protect myself from vicious criminals who want to murder me?" "What?" "Please, sir, but I don't want to die." "What? Do you think it here in free America?" So here I am out in free America, and I see these bills. Like, for instance, we really didn't talk about the South Carolina bill recently, where they put forth the open carry if you have a permit bill, the amendment to the concealed carry. It's like you can now open carry in South Carolina if you have a concealed carry permit. That's when your head just goes. You're like, hang on a second, rephrase that. What now? So, and they're like, well, that's like for printing, and if your shirt blows open, and I'm like, oh my god. If that's where we are now, we're like if you're carrying and you have a sport coat on and the wind catches it and it goes whoosh, and your gun gets seen by somebody's grandma, they're like, I saw it, arrest him. They're like, see, now if that happens, they won't be able to arrest you. And I'm sitting over here in my chair thinking, that's your concern? Is if the wind blows your jacket open, now they won't be able to arrest you. So they won't be able. So last month they could arrest you if your jacket blew open. Well, yeah, because someone saw it. And if you see it with your eyes, it's against the law. Oh my God. Holy crap. Do you realize the psychotic nature of that? So what they're saying is, well, if I was wearing a jacket and I reached up on the top shelf and like the bottom of my gun was exposed, then I had exposed my gun for someone to see. And when they saw it, that became a crime. Someone saw your gun and it became a crime. So seeing something is a crime now. And we had to go to the Senate and say, please, sir, can I carry my gun in the open if I have a concealed carry permit? What?
What?
I'm over here like, dong, 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 dong. Oh, no.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
That's right. It must be hard. I mean, it's got to be hard for you people still like living behind enemy lines. They're like, what do? You just like put your gun on and walk around? Yes. Well, you can't do that. No, I take it in my hand, and then I put it in the truck, and then I go drive. You can't do that. What? So the reason that I wanted to put this in here is because there is an absolute reason. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting back to some form of normalcy in our country. I know some of you who have chosen deliberately to live in states that are run by Democrat scumbags. You are not necessarily, you're still playing the slave game, but the rest of the country is getting back to normal, which means normal church services and normal full churches. Hopefully you guys will get your butt out and go there. In the year 2020, people were we kind of forgot about the church security thing because everyone was so terrified. Oh, we're not allowed to go to church anyway because the Rona will get us. You know what we should have done, Jared? We should have done impromptu church services at Lowe's. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm ashamed of myself. We should have done impromptu church services in Walmart because the Rona can't get into the Walmart. It could get into your church, but it can't get into Walmart or Target. You guys know that, right? It's scientifically proven fact. You could go to Kroger's and not get the Rona, but if you went to your local church, you could get it. So what we should have done, and I do apologize for not thinking of that sooner. So during the next pandemic, whatever the next one is that they have planned for us, we'll just hold our church services at Lowe's. Oh, flash mob church services.
Flash mob church service.
Oh man, I just had a thought that would literally turn the leftist, like it'll have them spinning. Oh, man. Oh, it'll have them saying this.
Sweet Buddha on a rubber raft.
That's right. They'll be saying sweet Buddha on a rubber raft. I can't believe Paul did that to us. So in case you've been living under a rock or not paying attention, or maybe you're brand new. And if you're brand new, welcome. Welcome to you. We came up with a program a couple of years ago, a dedicated church security program called the Legion of Michael. It is a distance learning program. We developed it in, 2019? I guess it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 2019. We developed it. We did several trial runs, and now it's available to you anywhere in the country. It is a dedicated program. It's not just about, carry a gun. I've been providing professional security. I don't do it full time anymore, obviously, because I do what I do. But I spent my entire adult life providing professional security to individuals, to corporations, to the country. And I took that experience and know-how and knowledge, and I put it into this program, and I designed it to be implemented for churches. So if you would like to take advantage of that, you can. And if you'd like to, in North Carolina, take advantage of that, you say, well, we don't need that because people are allowed to carry guns anyway. Yeah. The trick is, and this is what my good friend Troy Clopton says, he goes, the trick is to keep them out of the sanctuary, to get them before they come into the sanctuary. Because if you're all sitting with your backs to the back door, facing the front, listening to the dude up in the pulpit, you're not watching the back door. And if the dude walks in and the first indication you have is loud noise, that's not security. So if I was you, I'm not you, but if I was you, I would get together with some of your trusted ushers and elders and people like that, go through the program and decide maybe if it might be a good fit for you. Just saying. It's kind of like home defense. I'm glad that you have a rifle next to your bed, but if you wake up with a gun pressed to your forehead, that rifle across the room, not going to do you a lot of good, right? Exactly. Go to legionofmichael.com. You guys have your own website? You're like professionals or something. Yeah, we had some guys in Taiwan make it for us. I'm kidding. Someone just started right. No, we did not have people in Taiwan.
Yeah, it was Philippines, actually.
Yeah, it was actually the Philippines. It was Indonesia. We have a professional website, and there's a book called, what's it called, Jared?
Legion of Michael?
Yeah, it's available right now. And there's also a podcast, a weekly podcast called
Legion of Michael?
I know you're developing a pattern here. We're developing a pattern. So all these things are available to you if you are concerned about protecting your house of worship. And you really should be. I'm not saying be paranoid, but be prepared. Being prepared is probably a good idea. All right, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, thanks to Zach. Oh, I got the wrong button up, but I don't have the applause button up right. I got this one. That's not the applause button. Thanks to Zachary, we are going to reinstitute a traditional. This goes back to the Glass Case of Emotion. When we were in the OG Glass Case of Emotion studios, those of you who know, and those of you who had actually visited the studio, you should count yourselves as fortunate. You're amongst the select few that got to actually witness the miracle that was the Glass Case of Emotion studio. We came up with this little thing to point out weakness when we saw weakness, spineless, pathetic, cowardly weakness. And we called it the Vagination Report. And we actually came up with a trophy. If you guys remember that. You guys have been with us, remember the Vagination Trophy. Well, we don't have the same music, but we have some music, and Zach's going to bump us in. So it's called Tea Time. Isn't it right? Is that right, Zach? It's called Tea Time?
I believe that is the name of the song.
Okay. It's called Tea Time. And this is the, at least for the moment, Vagination Report update theme. Hopefully that'll keep us out of trouble with Tiny Tim's estate. We get Tiny Tim's estate off our back. All right, we got a follow-up to last week's story about John Xina. Now, that's Xina, Xina. He is the favorite new pet of Winnie the Pooh, the communist dictator of China. You might recall that John Xina last week bent down and groveled at the feet of his Chinese slave masters like a just spineless, pathetic puke bag. Well, Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder, he's taken to the page, and he's got a follow-up report about the slavish, subservient, just puke bag John Cena. Take it away, Jared. You got the story open?
Yeah, it says John Cena's China pandering backfires. F9 tanks in movie theaters. This is June 1st, 2021. The only thing worse than bending over and spreading cheeks for communist China? Bending over, spreading cheeks, and not getting paid for it. John Cena was forced last week to beg for China's forgiveness. He was doing a promo for F9 and called Taiwan a country.
How
Taiwan
dare he?
is a country. You just can't say that out loud. Cena was forced to grovel and show his.
This is the words of Crowder.
Yeah, this is. I'm reading Crowder's story. Cena was forced to grovel and show how tiny his testicles were, because if he didn't, the movie franchise would lose money. So he did, and the movie franchise allegedly lost money anyway. Chinese film goers have hit the brakes on Justin Lin's F9. The Universal tentpole downshifted 85%. in its second weekend, earning just $20.8 million compared to its $136 million roaring opening weekend. That's far weaker than the preceding franchise mainstays Furious 7 and The Fate of the Furious, which topped out at $390.9 million in 2015 and $392.8 million in 2017, respectively. Chinese ticketing app Mayan currently projects F9 to finish at $211.9 million. I like how they put that in like light gray lettering, so it's super hard to read.
Just for you.
It says, sure, $211.9 million is a crap ton of money, but Hollywood blockbusters are based on expectations. They expect to make more money than the last movies, not almost 50% less. Plus, that $211 million doesn't factor in exorbitant actor salaries, marketing, the cost of making a movie, and where cars ignore all laws of gravity. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the production budget on those movies is insane.
Oh yeah, it's 100 million plus.
It's hard to tell for sure if Xina's international incident is what costs the studio all this money. The article says reviews were pretty bad as well. Maybe the Chinese all woke up one day and realized that Fast and Furious franchise is the Wuhan Institute of movie franchises. Just saying, there could be a number of factors. It could only be ironic that after Xina upset the CCP, the box office fell by 85%. I doubt it is, though. And that makes Xina's pathetic video all the more embarrassing.
Yep. Look for fashionable ways to support Louder with Crowder.
Yeah.
Go to crowdershop.com. So I thought that was funny. I saw that as I was doing the show note prep. So even after his pathetic freaking apology speech, and for those of you that don't know, if you've been living under a rock or whatever, you're like, what are you talking about, Paul? Yeah, John Cena and the Maymays are everywhere. And the reason we called it Xina, Xina, if you don't know why that is, just bone up on world politics, okay? That's Winnie the Pooh's other name. So after he was doing a promo in Taiwan, and he said something about this is the first country to see this film. And, of course, the Chinese slave masters are like, hey, we, the Chinese Communist Party, don't recognize Taiwan as a country. And everyone else in the world said, yeah, but everyone else in the world does. Like, forever. Like, since it happened. Like, since the free people of China went to the island and said, hey, this is our island nation, and the United Nations and the United States, and everybody else said, yeah, you're a country. Okay, cool. And then the Chinese Communist Party, they're so arrogant. They have become so arrogant that they believe that they can force the rest of the world into their think-speak mentality, into their new-speak. If you don't know what newspeak is, read the book. And so somebody called Xina, and they're like, hey, you referred to Taiwan as a country. You can't do that. And instead of having some intestinal fortitude and saying, yeah, it is a country. No, the Chinese slave masters say it's not.
And
so
I just want to throw something out there. Which is people were trying to defend him like, oh, come on, you can't blame the guy too hard for wanting to save his career. First off, people make money outside of China. It's a thing that happens. Second off, if John Cena were to disappear tomorrow and never do another anything ever again, he would live a life more comfortable than anyone else on the planet until the day he died of natural age.
Yeah. All right. If he were to have kids, his grandkids wouldn't have to work. Okay?
Assumingly.
Yeah. I mean,
if he's smart with the money.
Okay. Unless he's like, DMX or freaking, 50 Cent or something. But I'm assuming that he's smarter than that. But yeah, the point is like, I got to make the money, man. If I don't grovel and bow down to communist China, I won't be able to, I'll lose my house. No, you lost your integrity if you ever had any. And you made yourself look like a spineless cuck. And when in the world did American adult men so willingly bow down to the Chinese communists? This is not the first time, and I brought this up last week. We have all these muscle-bound American adult men who feel the need to bend the knee to Chinese communists. Hey, America, in case you haven't got the memo, communists are bad. They're evil. Yes, evil. Communism and socialism are poison. They're destructive. And we don't suck up to them because they have money. Well, apparently some people do, because they have no morality and they have no principle. So even that's the irony that our friend that our friend Steven Crowder points out in this article is, even after the sycophantic groveling, and it was so obvious. I know people were like, no, John Cena's a good guy, and he was just trying to promote a movie, and he didn't grovel. And no. It was so blatantly obvious. Even after that, the movie still tanked. So your movie tanked, and you look like a cuck. Congratulations. Congratulations. Maybe next time you'll find your tiny little testicles, as I'm quoting Crowder here. Okay. Quoting Crowder. Don't write me letters. But if you do, write them to P.O. Box 405, Boulder, Colorado. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope. We will send you a complete refund of today's purchase price. So, timekeeper, producer, Zach,
Hi,
where we be?
I think we're about on time-ish.
I don't want to know ish. Tell me how long we've been going.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Well, because it involves math. Just talk for about 4 more minutes, and then we'll be good, I think.
Do you need 4 more minutes? Is there any chance that there's a question in the any of the comments that we could talk about?
I did not see one, but Jared, did you see one?
I have not seen one.
Let me double check
okay.
before I make that affirmation.
Affirmation. Before I go out on a limb, to be fair.
Oh, no.
No, I don't see one. All right, so what are we going to talk about on the grad program, and where can we sign up to the grad
on the
program?
grad program? That is an excellent. Let me look at my show notes. My show notes say Paul is going to talk about whatever the frick Paul wants to talk about, and you're going to be glad for it, and you're going to be happy for it. Oh, good news! I got tomatoes growing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yep. One of our biggest tomato plant has little green tomatoes on it. Yep. So that's the first one. Oh, and peppers have flowered. The biggest bell pepper plant, they sprouted flowers. You botanists know what that means, right? Flowers come first, and fruit comes second.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is. And I'll be transplanting some stuff this weekend too. So that's good.
Like kidneys, or what do you think?
No, not kidneys. Like from a little pot to a big one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got some little plants that I started from seeds that are going to go from the little tiny pots into the ground, so they can be with their friends. Oh no! If you guys have not joined the grad program, you're like, I don't know about that. Just do. Is that too much? Just do. Just quit screwing around. Quit farting around. Oh, this guy's He's trying to make me get more material from him. I don't know if I want to do that. Well, then don't. I don't care. But for those that do, go to studentofthegun.com/ no, that's not it at all. It's Get SOTG. That's GET SOTG.
.com.
.gov. Not .gov. .wix.edu. .us. What are some of the lamest? In the .us is just, it exists, and you're like, what? There's .co. Don't forget about that. Remember, there's a there's a .co, there's a .co, .us, dot all kinds of things. Dot your I's and cross your T's and show up tomorrow, and you'll be glad you did. And maybe you'll get a personal invitation to the next camp out from me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. You got a bonus on Monday. You got plenty today to keep you busy. I hope we gave you something to think about. We threw another 3-letter acronym into your lexicon. Now you can dazzle people with your brilliantness and start referring to things as CDRs. What? Of course, millennials don't know what a freaking. Maybe millennials do. Gen Zs don't know what a CDR is. You said to Zach's crowd, CDR, they'd be like, it's, in Zach's Gen Z crowd, it's probably some weird Urban Dictionary sexual thing, and I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know. Just keep it to yourself, Gen Z.
What?
But until then, and you know what people are doing right now?
Looking it up.
They're working up acronyms for CDR in their heads, and it's probably going to be scary. So let's just go ahead and pull the plug on this one. Listen up, freaks and freakettes. Remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.